Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 36 of our Rohan campaign. Last episode, of course, we fucked around with the Witch King up by Roshburg, who has since decided to leave, and that's just fine. Although we're still going to garrison Roshburg with everything we have, essentially. I think, though, that Harding is going to leave behind the cavalry in Roshburg. We will put this unit in Roshburg again, and I want Harding, I think... Here's the thing, he is not a bad commander, but neither is... Well, Quichelm is actually not a great commander. I just can't imagine we are going to be needing a proper general in the northeast beyond our good friend Augmented. So I really need Harding in the west. And I want to send him to perhaps Karis. We're eventually going to need not only governors, but generals for the armies that we are going to be building in the future in the west and the northwest. I can only imagine, so I'm going to send him to the west on the old Oregon Trail. Now, we have recruited a few things. First and foremost, we have recruited a spy by the name of Horsa, which is... oddly fitting. A man of Rohan by the name of Horsa. It just seems... it seems twisted and sick in a way. But there we go. He's going to be keeping an eye on Alkford, and we'll have Sig here keeping an eye of the North Road. There we go. Horsa will keep an eye on the west. We've got Alduini keeping an eye to the east. Maybe a little bit... there we go. Oh, there's a fucking fort right here. Very interesting. With half a stack in. Okay, so apparently the siege of Alkford may be a little bit more interesting than I had anticipated. The first thing I want to do is hide these ballista, perhaps in these trees. And then they can take part in the siege next turn. So here's the thing. We can besiege the capital. But then I imagine that these guys will march to defend. Even so, if they do, I think we outclass that army, especially with our pikes and our missile detachment. We don't have very many cavalry. Very much cavalry, I should say. But that's basically all we need, in my experience. So I am comfortable in besieging the place. I can only imagine... that they will try to attack, and they will ultimately fail. Okay, as for the Dunlendings, there is a captain up here, Captain Nauman, but he's in no position to save Dunyard. We're gonna march with our entire fucking army and attack it, and that's looking good. It's looking great. You know what we could do, though? Maybe in case things get hairy, we can put Aomer in position to reinforce next turn. As well, the Dunlendings have declared war on the Principality of Dulamroth. No idea why. I don't know. They're nowhere near each other, and they're surely not really doing much damage to each other. But regardless, they've declared war. The Vale of Dorwinion has declared war on the Shadow of Mirkwood, and that is nothing but good news for us, which is wonderful. Now, in the south, we're still kind of just wandering around with Leonir, and we've just stumbled again into a region held by bandits, but we're going to follow this road, because hopefully it will take us to a town, which will then in turn take us to a town, so on and so forth. Much the same story in the north with Leowine. Although, I have to say, Karn Doom looks terrifying. I would be interested to see what that battle map looks like. Okay, we're going to continue ever onward. And I think we're about ready to end the turn, essentially. Well, I suppose we should move Gamling into place. Now, he too could be outclassed if we're not careful. Luckily, we're able to hire some mercenaries. Very interesting. I'm wondering... Okay, so they're somewhat comparable to our own infantry, and that's just fine. I'll take them anyway. Gambling does have... He has more cavalry than our good friend Alkford, or what's his name? Wolf? So we should be good, I imagine. We are currently moving Sigbert into Lond Angren as well. And, just as an aside, I wanted to point out that Gynird is 70 people away from growing. Bregnus, I think, is a long ways off, but Lond Angren is not that far off at all. It's like 140 people. So we're looking good. We're going to be able to upgrade some places very shortly. We just need the cash to do so, which I think will be coming our way once we start, you know, ending these wars. Ending these wars by capturing every settlement of the enemy, but more importantly, by losing troops, we will reduce our upkeep, and that will certainly lighten the load on the coffers, as we all know. It's that age-old tale. I am looking, though, and it seems to me that Dunland is actually a little bit more extensive than maybe I imagined. But anyway, let us end the turn. Amazing. We get a notification for a siege that we ourselves are currently conducting. I love that. The people of Enedwythe have long been at peace with the nations of Middle-earth. I don't fucking think so, considering that they declared war on me. I think this is your fake news. You gotta get your story straight. It seems, however, that it now has enemies. Foes that have now attacked the hometown of these fisher folk. They're assholes. I don't know how to... I don't know how to stress this more than I currently am. These guys brought this shit on themselves. Bree land blossoms. Wow, the men of Bree and the hobbits are pulling. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Pluming? Breeland was under threat, but responded well and with speed to the events that followed, remembering the tales of Bull Roarer Took. Okay, so apparently the men of Bree have somehow conquered regions. I wonder if maybe they're delving into Dunland? The dwarves of Ered Luin do not like us. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. I could have sworn that we were on good terms, but new. Okay, we are now crossing from the mountains of Angmar, the remnant of Angmar, into the mountains of Gundabad, which is held by, I think, the orcs of Gundabad, obviously. Somewhere... Or the orcs of the Misty Mountains, that is right. Okay, repair complete. I repaired the... Oh, that is a... Is that an image from Rome Total War? Amazing. Okay, coming of age, Herubrand. Well, he certainly looks of age. He's also cultured, lazy and cultured, and also a liar. Is he a family member? He is not. Okay, interesting. We now have Herubrand. He is going to garrison Bregnus. What a guy. Away you go. Shadow of Mirkwood, at war with Kingdom of Gondor, Vale of Dorwinion. Truce with Shadow of Mirkwood, okay. Very, very interesting. Now, Gambling is meeting some immediate resistance in the single unit of outlaws, which we can just browbeat into submission, losing 6 men in the process. And there we go. We've gained some gold from that action. Oh shit, look at that. That is a large army of Dunland coming to ruin my day. Okay, let's head to the west. We can see Captain Garban up here, Captain Halbar down here. Okay, I think we will just... We'll capture Alkfoot and deal with those guys afterwards. We can immediately besiege Dunyrd. No problems there. We can also build like 5 rams. So, it's possible that these guys under Captain Art Garfunkel, apparently... Is it Art Garfunkel or is it Simon Garfunkel? I'm fairly certain it's Art Garfunkel. Anyway, Captain Art is the only one in position to reinforce Dunland, unless, of course, there are units hiding along the fucking mountains, and that is not the case. Now, Aemir is in place. He could potentially attack this captain and cause some damage. It's not necessary, though, so we'll just ignore that army for now. Gambling is able to besiege Londair as well as Sudiri this turn, actually. We'll go for Londair. And we're gonna need large encampment orcs. Okay, that's interesting. We'll need maybe one ram. Towers would be... No, we'll go with ladders. Because we can build many in one turn. Yeah. We'll go with the ladders. Alright. Unless we can build one tower. 2 towers. There we are. Okay, now... I think that's essentially it. And we ought to just end the episode with the capture of Alkford. Now, since you're still watching, why don't you just scroll on down and drop a fucking like, and also drop a comment. That would be great. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me all about your week. What's going on with you? Tell me your fondest memory of The Lord of the Rings. That would be fun. Okay, let us assault the walls. Moot Lord Tremak, the faction leader, is within the town, and he has no one to defend him, essentially. This is going to be pretty sadly easy, I think. Fuck, look at this guy. Look at this guy with the fur. This is what you get, Fisher King. Alright, looks like the Enedwythians are... the clansmen, I should say. It looks to me like they're garrisoning the walls. I've got my swordsmen on the rams. We'll send them in. I'm going to fire on the walls with my ballistas. I think, yeah, we'll go for this section as it is so clearly garrisoned by some fucking archers. And I think I'll focus my archers on their infantry. There's no need for me to try to kill their archers, that's for sure. We're going to be suffering some casualties, of course, but it's in our missile unit, so I'm certainly happy to suffer those casualties. I'm fairly certain we can replace them at some point. Yeah, let's throw some arrows down here, and I'm going to move the rest of my infantry in as well. Just in case we need some extra rams, I've got them there. And the pikes. I'm not entirely sure what to do with the pikes at this point, but I'm gonna move them forward regardless. Now the ballista is firing at the wall, and it's not doing enough damage because these archers are still present. Oh man, it's gonna take forever to take down that wall, actually. But at the very least, we're now firing our arrows. We've got Aaron Vorn Woodsman. That's a sweet fucking name. Wildsmen, mercenaries, river spearmen, and the like. This may actually be a little bit tougher than I anticipated, considering how ineffectual the ballistas are. I could have sworn they did more damage, but maybe the walls are a little bit sturdier than I thought they would be. Anyway, that is to say, maybe this is an upgrade above what I was imagining. But here we go. We're now throwing hundreds of arrows inside. And I've yet to see many casualties. We're not doing so hot in that regard. And we're in fact taking huge amounts of casualties in the javelin men. Or rather in the swordsmen because of the javelin men. Fuck me. Enedwythe is kind of nasty in the siege defense. Look at that. They're just annihilating that unit. Luckily, it was a weak unit. I'm not so torn up about it. They kind of just have to suffer the javelins. There's nothing I can do about it. I need to take out that gate. Okay, the ballista has expended half of its ammunition, essentially, and we're still... Well, maybe 66%, and we still haven't taken down the wall. I don't know what these archers are Oh, there we go. The archers are firing at I have no idea. I have no idea what the enemy archers are firing at. But anyway, we have busted up the wall, and I'm sure that freaks them out. Okay. Let's... I don't know if we'll have enough ammunition for another hole in the wall, but I definitely want to get these. Okay, I'm forced to open this breach. I don't want these javelin men to annihilate any more of my men than necessary, but I desperately need another way into the city. Oh my god, just look at all of these dead men. It's like a pattern. It's like wallpaper. Oh, but shit, look at that. Battering ram just absorbing those. No, we don't need to reman. Oh shit, that is perhaps the only time I've ever heard that bit of audio. I've never had a situation where all of my men manning a piece of siege equipment, all of my men died. I've never had that happen, to my recollection. That's incredibly interesting. Okay, we're still raining arrows down on these guys. They've only lost 3% of their army, though. Oh. Did I send these guys in? I must have done. Okay, we're still taking quite a few casualties. Maybe we'll pull back with the infantry and let the archers empty their quivers, because we certainly have more than enough arrows for the enemy. And there's a big mass of men here that deserve arrows. Arrows to the back of their head. So it looks to me like we're actually causing very few casualties here. Okay, what do I want to send into the breach? I have axemen, maybe? Axemen and swordsmen. I could send the pikes in to capture the gate, but I think they'll just get wiped out by those Angren raiders. What are you guys firing at? Apparently you still have a huge amount of arrows, whereas the fort archers do not. Come on, ballista. Oh no. One bolt short. Surely you have enough ammunition. Oh shit. Okay, so apparently my infantry were able to make it across. No. We were seriously that short? Well, maybe I should have built some ladders, huh? Okay, this was clearly a failure on my part. Let's withdraw and rethink this. I don't think there's any way our shitty infantry is going to be able to overcome the clansmen in this one breach. So, actually, no, before we go, can I take out some of these raiders? That would be ideal. Just throw some arrows their way, come on. What a sad little siege assault this was. I really fucked that up. I should have built ladders, of course. I was really banking on the ballistas being more effective than they were, but of course, that was a failure. And we all know this. But we're nearly out of arrows. Man, my archers are just so fucking ineffective. Okay, let's just get everyone off the field. This is silly. Beyond belief. Okay, well, what's next for Aldwulf? I think maybe, in fact, we do need Eomer. Eomer can probably force one of these openings. I mean, all of these troops are pretty susceptible to cavalry, as in my experience. So if we were to get some ladders, maybe if we maintain the siege, we can prevent them from repairing the wall. We'll get some ladders. We'll hopefully be able to put a hole in the wall with the ballistas. God damn it. I can't believe I ruined that siege. Definitely overestimated what units I had in my army, that's for sure. As soon as we decided to siege the walls, I suddenly realized, oh man, All of the infantry in my army is complete garbage. Whoopsies. Well, that's just fine. We can't win every battle, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll get out to the campaign map any second now. Oh, they've actually left the city in an effort to run me off. That would have been ample targets for our cavalry, but anyway, I'll see you guys out on the old campaign map. Okay, Aldwolf has retreated extremely far. So far, in fact, that we could possibly get some reinforcements in Karis. Something worthwhile, like Fort Axemen. There is no amount of units available in Karis that will allow us to conquer Alkford. I wonder... Yes, I seriously overestimated what I had in the army. I was not prepared for an assault. What I should have done is obviously starved them out a little bit. We do not have the same issue in Londair because there are so few men here. Dunland as well. There's so few men compared to our massive army, of which we have many professional units, non-professional units, and a full complement of cavalry that will hopefully do a bit of work. Not to mention, their wall is really small. This is like the palisade wall. That's what I was imagining that was in Alkford, and that's what was really vulnerable to ballista. But in fact, the massive wall in Alkford, apparently very resilient to ballista bolts, as is to be expected. Anyway, it seems we can end the turn, as we essentially are out of actions already. Here we go. Our relations with the Kingdom of Gondor are now amiable. I don't know what has occurred to appease the Gondorians, so maybe they heard of my failure to capture Alkford, and they were thinking like, you know what, I really appreciate the way that they are so militarily inept. Man, they certainly gave Gundabad an upgrade in Divide and Conquer. In the Third Age, it's just a city. Okay, let's see what's going on. In Dunyeard, we are most definitely able to capture the town, which we will do probably next episode. They have refused to reinforce Alkford.
Your orders, my lord.
What do we do here? Maybe bring up some more cavalry. We need infantry. That's definitely what we need. Okay, so I guess, yes, we are forced rather to recruit whatever the fuck we can in Karis. Maybe we can get mercenaries of some description. Nope. Alright, so, these units are essentially useless to me. Let's disband them. I know I just said that I need more infantry, but I don't need 60 men in a unit of infantry. That's just asking for some sadness, some mass rout sadness. Let's send this cavalry back to Fulberg and get 2 fresh units out. There we go. In fact, let's get 3. Will the skirmishers be useful? I'm gonna say no. Let's get the riders of Rohan and Eomer to lead them. And we are going to besiege Alkford to start... Well, no, first we'll hide so that we don't get counterattacked. Can you honorably hide, Aldwolf? Can you? Are you hiding at the moment? It's very hard for me to say. I gotta say, it seems to me that the clansmen aren't too concerned with their capital. They had a chance to reinforce it, and they've actually moved armies away from reinforcing it. And they have garrisoned this fort here. Man, there's all sorts of forts up in Alkford. There's at least 3, which is really interesting. It could be a potential And even... Oh, there's even one here. Okay, surely there's a reason for that in the lore, why there's so many forts in Lugiu and Malfin. There has to be a reason. What I'm seeing here, though, is that this is a potential staging point for the Riders of Rohan. We can have... well, there's another fort here, too. And here. There's plenty of places for us to garrison cavalry. And that's kind of what I want to do in the future. Garrison at least 3 units of cavalry in every fort, so that they can get free upkeep. We can have a rapid response team, if you will, or a rapid response force in place to any such threat. And this line of forts screams to me a place for Eomer to rest his weary crested head. Alright, when we come back, I may just capture both of these places off camera and we can focus on Alkford because that is an actual capital. That would be interesting. I'm undecided. I think we'll find out what will happen when we come back next episode. So, thank you everyone for watching episode 36. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go on down and just ever so gently tap the like button. Just give it a little soft caress. And leave a comment, that would be nice. As always, my name is Incoherence. This has been the Rohan campaign. You guys are fucking awesome. And I will see you all later.